Not a lot of people are interested in the real raw end of street fighting. Therefore, the term Kinamutai is probably going to be known by very few people. On Street Safe 3, we wanted to cover the entire gamut, 2-on-1, 3-on-1. If you get stuck on the ground, if you're outnumbered, if you're outgunned, that's what this tape is all about. You know, when most people talk about biting, the first thing that comes to their mind is, well, anyone can bite. But in actuality, there's an entire art based on it. Any of the weapons that we use within the confines of the Filipino martial arts translates directly to anything that you can find in the street. Come to your feet, escape, win the fight. Do what you have to do.
Hi, I'm Paul Vunak. Welcome to Street Safe 3, Brutal Solutions. In Street Safe 1, we covered the absolute basic fundamentals. We covered 8 basic tools with you. In Street Safe 2, we kind of picked up where Street Safe 1 left off. Headbutts, knees, elbows, we did some destructions. Now finally in Street Safe 3, we entitled this tape Brutal Solutions for a reason. This is for the absolute worst scenarios. Scenarios that you do not want to be in a fight. Let's say you end up on the ground, the last place you want to be in. Or somebody pulls a knife on you. Or you're in a close quarter situation and you have a mass attack. So these are the worst case scenarios. Now for the first time we've introduced a new art with you called Kinamutai. This tape is based upon the worst scenarios, and Kinamutai is a brutal art. This is the uninterrupted art of biting and eye gouging. It's a relatively unknown art. It was taught to Dan Inosanto by an old Filipino master, and he passed it on to about 5 people. So again, this is for the worst case scenarios, and that's what this tape is all about. So let's get out our notebooks, roll up our sleeves, and we'll get started.
There are many situations in a street fight in which you are outnumbered, outgunned. You're in a position that is not conducive to winning. This is where you need to be able to ad-lib, think on your feet. Anything in life can be an equalizer. You can be running down the street and grab a car antenna. You can be in a bar and grab a bottle, a pool cue, a pool ball. Anything that you see should be able to be used as a weapon. On the other hand, if you want to carry your own weapon, I highly recommend carrying a knife. A clip it, you can keep it right here. It's non-obtrusive. You just pull it out, bam, and it's open.
Now for our first segment, we're going to be covering weapons. Weapons are the equalizer. And again, this tape is about scenarios in which you need an equalizer. Right now we're going to be working with the stick. The stick could be a tire iron, a crowbar, a pool cue, anything you pick up. We're also going to be working with edged weapons. Could be a bottle, could be a piece of tin, anything, a knife. So the very first thing that we've done is we've covered every basic drill that I can think of that is functional and easy to learn. These are my 2 criteria for this particular tape. These drills you can literally pick up within an hour, and they're meant to be very offensive and very aggressive. The first drill is called Armora, and what Armora does is it kind of puts a force shield around your body. So if you are stuck, let's say in a bar, and you've got 6 guys coming at you, you've got this shield in front of your body to keep people off of you. So I'm going to go through the motions. There are basically 7 motions that we're going to be covering. And once you know these 7 motions, it's exponentially better than just flailing the stick at people. So we're going to start right here. We're going to start with your right foot forward, sticking your right hand, stick just over the shoulder. We're going to make an X. This is covering your body. This is protecting your body. We go down 1, and we go down 2. Then we come back, and we stop it right here. So again, we go 1, 2, 3. Okay? That's a picture of force shield around your body. Anytime somebody tries to come in, boom, you're hitting them with one of those motions. So the X goes down, back, and up. Now we're going to come back with a horizontal strike. That's motion number 4. There's only 7 motions to this pattern. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now our 5th motion, 1, 2, 3, 4, is we extend the stick. This is a progressive indirect attack. The stick extends and goes all the way down to the ground onto the toe. Now we come back up, aiming for the groin, and I'm going to bring somebody in to show you the exact targets. And then we finally fire it out one more time for motion number 7. And that's the whole pattern. Okay? And it's important to know that you do not have to do this pattern in order in a fight. You can use any piece of this. You can compartmentalize it. So we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's give it a try. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to bring somebody in and show you the precise targets that we're aiming at. Again, these are not just 7 arbitrary lines of attack that we pulled out of the air. These are some of the most combative angles that you can implement in a street fight. For example, a boxer uses a jab across, a hook, an uppercut, an overhand. They do it for a reason. Okay? These are combative angles. These angles that we're showing you now are some of the most combative angles predicated upon fights in the past history of the Philippines. So these 7 moves are about the best 7 moves you can do. Again, it gives you a force shield around the body, and it integrates another concept that Bruce Lee used called progressive indirect attack. So Jeff, let's get you in here. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the exact precise targets. Again, I come across with my X down, up, and back. That is my force shield. Anything that comes in is going to get hit. So as I come down, down, up, and back, bam, I'm aiming for the hand, okay, to try to defang the snake. If Jeff pulls the hand away here, then I just continue my motion onto the head. If Jeff gets his head out of the way, I continue the motion down onto the toe. If he, from there, gets his toe out of the way, I come up to the groin. If he gets the groin out of the way, I hit the chin. So we have the 7 motions, and each motion will hit something. So again, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's give it a try. Now again, this armor out pattern, these 7 motions, do not have to be done in any particular order. You can repeat the same motion 3 or 4 times in an altercation. You don't have to have a stick. The same thing would work with a blade. So we go down, up, back, across, slash down, come back up, and go across. So you're just creating a force shield around your body to keep people off you. So if you could imagine breaking a bottle, you're in a bar, you've got 5 or 6 bikers coming at you, instead of just arbitrarily flailing and doing some move that could open you up for perhaps a tackle or another blow, you're keeping everything in tight, and you're preventing anybody from coming at you with these 7 motions. Later on in the tape, we're going to be showing you the actual functional application in a bar. So we can do the same 7 motions with a blade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to go into, in my opinion, the absolute best drill that you can do to develop the attributes necessary for a street fight. This drill is called Serrata, and it develops reflexes like nothing else in the world. And reflexes, timing, spatial relationship, line familiarization, these are all the attributes that you're going to need to pull off when the heart's pounding like this and you're in a situation, you've got a mass attack, again what we call the fog of war, and you've got to kind of breathe into it and feel what's going on and just let your body react without thinking. And that's what this drill does. It teaches you just to react. Now before I can actually show you the drill, I have to show you how to feed the drill so you can train this at home. The feeding is rather simple. Okay? We're going to start off with 5 angles of attack with the weapon. I'm naming these angles. There's no particular reason other than it makes teaching a lot easier. Okay, so angle 1 is a diagonal. Angle 2 is a diagonal backhand. So we have a diagonal forehand, we have a diagonal backhand. We have a horizontal, and we have a backhand horizontal. That's number 4, and this is the number 5. So again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now again, I'm just the feeder. I'm showing you how to feed this. Then I'm going to bring somebody in and I'll show you how to do the entire drill. Now in between each angle, we're going to throw a thrust in with a knife. This is where the reflexes come in. So we go 1 thrust, 2 thrust, 3 thrust, 4 thrust, 5 thrust. So we just keep repeating the thrust. You don't have to go exactly in this order. You can use the same blow 3 or 4 times. You can break it up a little bit once you learn how to do it. But in the beginning, 1 thrust, 2 thrust, 3, 4, and 5. And if you watch my feet, I'm starting in a right lead, but then I change to a left lead. And then I change back to a right lead. So the footwork, if I just do the footwork, I'm doing this. You're seeing me alive. You're seeing the feet move. I'm not in a stationary stance. And as the feet are moving, I'm doing the feeding. So this is what the feeding looks like. So it's going to be up to you to first practice this aspect before we can actually do the drill. 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5. Okay, let's work on the feeding, then we'll get to the drill. Now we're going to actually do the drill. Jeff's going to come in and feed me, and you're going to watch what I do. When we do serrata, it's important to understand that you can do it with any mixed weapon. It can be knife against knife, knife against stick, double stick against knife, double knife against stick. We can work it in a plethora of different directions. Okay? What the real deal is here is we're learning reflexes. You're going to watch when Jeff feeds me, you're going to watch me have to react. I don't know what angle he's going to come in. We showed you the 1 through 5, but he's going to break it up. Every time he comes in, you're going to see me cutting. I never do anything defensive. You'll never see any kind of a blocking motion, and you'll certainly never see a disarm. Okay? The disarms are the cutting on the arm. So what we're doing is I'm defanging the snake. Every time Jeff comes in with a weapon, I'm cutting his hand. In reality, when you cut that hand, he's going to lose the weapon, and then you can go in and take him out if you need to. Okay, so when we defang the snake, you can let the snake go or you can kill it. That's up to you. Okay, so watch what I do. You'll see me move. You'll watch the reflexes. Then obviously the correlation between the reflexes that are being developed here and what we'll actually do in reality will be quite clear to you. Okay, Jeff, come on in. Okay, switch speed. Break. Good. So, as we repeat this, many hours, many days, many weeks, you develop this visceral response to any angle that comes in. And you see these angles as not a weapon that's going to hurt you, that you block, but you see it as a target that you cut. So I'd like you to start off doing this drill slow, and then pick up the speed. Now we're going to do the exact same drill. This time I'm going to have double knife. Every time we change the weapons, we're changing the attribute slightly. When you use double knife, you're a little bit more lateral, and when you're a little bit more lateral, you get to use sidestepping more. Your evasive movements are a little bit better. You zone a little bit better. Single knife is a little bit more forward. When I have a stick, that works a little bit more body mechanics. So again, every time I change the weapon structure, I'm adding something to the attribute development. And attribute development is what is responsible for making you win a street fight. It's not techniques. There is no superior style out there. There are only superior individuals. So as we get better in martial arts, we learn how to develop training methods that enhance our qualities that make us a better fighter. Okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to see me use double knife against stick and dagger. Okay, Jeff? So as you see, I'm using double knife now, more body mechanics, more lateral motion. If you contrast that to round one, you'll see the movement a little bit different. Let's give it a try.
Integrated in the Filipino weaponry are a whole litany of weapons, starting with the staff, dos manos, which is two hands on one weapon, say a 4x4, double stick, which is sinawali, espada y daga, which is stick and dagger, single stick, double knife, single knife, palm stick. Any one of these weapons can translate to anything in the street. Double stick could be a pool cue that you break in half. Single stick could be a bottle, it could be a tire iron, a crowbar, a knife could be a broken bottle, a palm stick could be a little key ring. So any of the weapons that we use within the confines of the Filipino martial arts translates directly to anything that you can find in the street.
Okay. As you can see, I'm having a bad day. This is what happens when you try to confront a knife. I did what I can do after 30 years of martial arts and try to block or disarm. It never works out. And if you hit rewind on your cameras at home, you'll see I took 5 shots in the stomach and a neck shot. Okay? Now we're going to do it the right way. I'm going to get an equalizer and I'm going to run. Now we're going to change gears here, developing a new drill, a new attribute for the street fight. This drill is going to enhance our sensitivity. What is sensitivity? Once you've clashed with the opponent, let's say the knife is actually connecting with the body, and you just guide it out of the way, perhaps that's enough motion for you to run, grab an equalizer, okay? Get out the door. So this drill is going to teach you the energy not to fight with the blade, but to kind of roll with the punches. As Bruce Lee would say, this is his energy. Bruce Lee used to do a drill called Chi Sao, developing something very similar. In actuality, when you do an energy drill with a blade, your energy has to be twice as good, because the knife is just a little slice and that's going to be a lethal blow. Whereas with Chi Sao, a solid hit is what you're guarding against. So when I bring Erin in, she's going to be defending against the most minute little cut. I'm going to be trying to cut her body. She's going to go with the flow using sensitivity. This is not something that I encourage in a street fight. I do not want you to connect with this person with a blade and try to do this. This is something that if you're looking this way, you're talking to somebody, all of a sudden a blade comes and you have to make a quick little move, break a bottle, shove it in the guy's face and run, or hopefully run first. So I never encourage you to have a confrontation with a blade. First and foremost, you run. Secondly, if your family is there and you can't just abandon them, you grab an equalizer. Anything will work. Hot soup, a bottle, a table, a chair, anything. Okay? These are the functional applications for this street. If you have nothing, the knife is already upon you, you have no choice, that's where this drill comes in. Again, it develops sensitivity. Okay, Erin? And you're going to watch me, I'm going to be trying to cut her. As I try to cut her, she's feeling the energy. Now, don't move, please. I'm actually trying to cut, but as I do that, that's when she guides the energy. Good. Okay? So my goal has just been to try to slice across her body. As you can see, I didn't get one slice in, but if she were to fight me using strength, it would have been very easy. But what she did was she guided, using her superior energy, didn't allow me to get a slice in. So when you do this, just work it slowly in the beginning, then pick up your speed. Now for our final drill, we're going to do what's called knife sparring. This is my absolute favorite drill. This develops just about every attribute you need in a fight. Footwork, timing, distancing, stamina, spatial relationship, line familiarization, coordination. I mean, anything and everything that you need. If there is only one thing that you could do, you only have 20 minutes to allocate in a day, I recommend that you do knife fighting. First of all, I kind of want to go over some basic fundamentals with you. Okay, Jeff, come on in. When two people, two gang kids, two prison people, whatever, they engage in a knife altercation, they both have a blade, what they do is they end up headhunting. So for example, he swings to my head, I get out of the way, I swing to his head, he gets out of the way, and they're just duking it out with a knife. And eventually somebody's going to cut somebody and they're going to both be wallowing in each other's blood. I have about 3 feet to travel to get to his face. He has about 3 feet to travel to get to my face. So it's an even deal. As opposed to what we like to do, and that's defang the snake. So instead of me going all the time to his face, occasionally I'll go to his face if it's wide open. But instead of headhunting all the time, going 3 feet, when he comes to my face 3 feet, I go 3 inches. Okay? When you're talking about a razor cutting across the tendons in the hand, doesn't matter if this guy's on PCP or whatever, you're cutting the tendons responsible for holding onto the blade. It's a physical impossibility to hold onto the blade. You've now defanged the snake. The knife's on the ground. You can let the snake go, you can kill it. That's up to you. Okay? So when we knife fight, what you're going to watch us do is primarily go for the hand. That's the touchdown. When you see a little thrust like this to the stomach, everybody goes, ooh. Okay? In a real fight, the blade would go in about that deep. Okay? It's not like the James Bond movies where they just walk up to a guy and they go, and they walk away and they kill him. Okay? In order for this knife to get through bone and rib and muscle, you need to dig, and you need to dig deep, and it's got to be in close. So when you talk about long-range fighting, okay, the much more viable target to attack is the hand. So pay attention to the hand strikes. You'll see an occasional strike to the head. You'll see an occasional strike to the tendon. Okay? We're up on our toes. We're moving around. We're not blocking. We're not in any stances. And most of all, we're not trying any disarms. Okay, Jeff? Okay, so as you see, the hand is the main target. Occasionally we go to the head, occasionally we go to the leg. Okay, start off doing this slow. Always put on headgear, always put on eye goggles. Let's give it a try.
When you talk about fighting 2, 3, 4 people at a time, that's movie stuff. That really is. I mean, if we're talking about fighting 4 librarians, that's one thing. But if you're talking about fighting 4 fighters, there's no way. I don't care who you are. 4-on-1, 3-on-1, there's no chance. This is why we put so much of an emphasis on weapons. You see nowadays so many martial arts talk about total fighting because they stand up and fight on the ground, or they punch and they kick. But what they neglect is the weapons. Without the weapons, there is no such thing as a total street fighter.
Now, in this particular scenario, my wife and I are going to be going into a bar. As we enter the bar, we're going to see a couple drunk bad guys coming out. They give us the eyeball. We see it from about 20, 30 feet away. We decide not to engage. We're looking like we're going to turn around. At that point, I look at my wife and I say, hey, better get out your knife. Now, whether you choose to carry a knife with you is up to you. In my opinion, it is the perfect equalizer for a woman, for a man. Okay, it is the perfect equalizer. So in a scenario like this, it would be very difficult to fight 2-on-2 with your wife. If she has a knife, there's no problem. So you're going to see her pull the blade. We're going to try to avoid the conflict. They're going to cut us off. We can't avoid it. We're forced to fight. She'll use her blade. I'll use my empty hands. Hopefully everything will turn out okay. Guys. Now, what could have been a potential disaster was averted because my wife had a knife. Had she have not had a knife, I would have had to have confronted both people and tried to protect her at the same time. So this is the advantage of carrying around an equalizer. I highly recommend you A, learn how to use it, and B, carry it. Now our next segment of the tape is on mass attack. Again, the reason that we named this tape Street Safe 3 Brutal Solutions is that we are stuck in an environment, in a situation that we don't want to be in. Ground fighting, mass attack, somebody pulls a blade on you. These are situations that are absolutely the worst case scenarios. So what we need to do is we need to not fight things head on. We need to circumvent the odds. We need to find a way to get an equalizer. So when you have to fight more than one person, there are different scenarios. One scenario is that you have space. We're going to address that one first. Later on, we're going to address the scenario where you have to fight more than one person and you do not have the latitude of having this much space. So we're going to start off with a 2-on-1. We're not going to throw any blows, and I want you to see the mindset of how you fight two people. And that mindset is that you don't fight two people, you fight one person. Kind of like an eclipse. You want to keep one person here, the assailant behind them, and you want yourself here. The last thing you want to do is rush down the middle of two people. So you want to keep an I as opposed to a T formation. Okay, guys, come on out. Now again, we're not throwing any punches. I just want you to see the footwork. Notice the movement and the footwork, the perpetual zoning. Okay, ready? Go. And break. Good. Now if you noticed, I had one of my assailants always behind the other, where I wasn't fighting two people at the same time. Then from there, once you have that established, then you can throw in your blows, your punching, your headbutt, your knees, and your elbows. You first have to get the footwork down. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to throw in the punches. At home, I would like you to work just the footwork for at least a week, maybe an hour a day. Okay? Until you get your footwork down, you have no business throwing in any punches. You're going to find out how limited kicking is when you have to be up on your toes. The minute you pick your foot up to kick, you've got one leg, you have no footwork, you're going to get swarmed on. So the idea is to stay up on your toes, to keep moving, to hit, move, stick and move, and never get planted. Think of yourself more as a Sugar Ray Leonard and not a Marvin Hagler, a Muhammad Ali and not a Joe Frazier. You need to be up on your toes, you need to be moving and punching. This is not something that you want to, it's not a protracted drill that you want to do. In reality, you want to get your few punches in, get your eclipse, throw a shot in, and be able to run. For the drill, we repeat it over and over again. But once you get a good shot in, I highly recommend that you split. You know, in the movies, they have people fighting 2, 3, 4 people at a time. That's BS. Okay? If you're fighting a couple librarians, that's one thing. If you got some street fighters, 2, 3 people bent on your destruction, it's just baloney. You're not going to be able to do it. Fighting 3 or 4 people is almost impossible unless you have an equalizer. So we're going to start off again with our worst case scenario. I have no equalizer. I have no knife. I have nothing that I can grab. No tables, no bottles, no cue balls, nothing. I'm forced to fight 2 people at once with just my fists. Okay, ready guys? And go. Now for our next scenario is going to be 3-on-1. I don't get an equalizer. I have no blade. I have no bottles. I have to fight 3 people. My experience has been that this never works. All you can do is prolong the inevitable. You can continue zoning. You can try to keep people off you, but eventually they're going to swarm on you. Eventually somebody's going to grab you, take you to the ground, and the other 2 guys are just going to pummel you. So my goal here is not to win the fight, not to be a tough guy. My goal is to escape safely. So what you're going to see me do is prolong it until the timing is right, and then I'm going to split. Okay, ready? And go. Okay, once again, you're not playing Billy Jack. You're not trying to take on all these guys at one time. The concept here is to be like a rat and to survive, to escape safely. So all you can do is you can buy yourself some time, your best scenario against 3 people, buy yourself some time, get up on your toes, stick and move, get a few shots in. When the timing's right, split. And that's what I did. That's the best advice I can give you. Now for our next scene, things are going to be a little bit different. The odds are tipped in my favor. We're going to have 6-on-1 against me, but the odds are still tipped in my favor. Why? The equalizer. Okay? I cannot stress enough how much one weapon can do in a fight. You saw the difficulty I had fighting 3 people. I guarantee you, had I have not run, within 20 to 40 seconds, I would have been tackled on the ground and beaten. When I have a knife in my hand, you could literally hold off an entire bar until the police come. Who wants to die first? The first person that comes in gets cut. If a punch comes in, you cut the hand. Now I've instructed my instructors here that when they do receive a cut, to pretend like it's a real blade and to back off just for a second as if they were really cut. We need to have some sort of realism here as opposed to me using a real knife. Now what you're going to see is just how easy it is to hold off as many people as you want, provided that you have a blade. That's why we work weapons so much. The theme of this tape is that we have to come up with an equalizer. This could be a bottle, it could be anything sharp, any edged weapon. But when you have a weapon, you can confront 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Okay? If you don't have a weapon, anybody that tells you you can fight that many people, they're out in left field and the game's over. Okay? So, let's take a look at 6-on-1 with a knife. Good. Okay. Now, it might be a little bit hard for you to perceive because you're not seeing blood, tendons aren't squirting, people aren't on the ground slipping in their own blood. But every time you saw the knife touching, that was a potential lethal cut. The knife, that's the equalizer. Now for this final round, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to show you, again, what I call the fog of war, mass attack. You might think that 3-on-3 are even odds, but in actuality, they're not even odds because there's so much confusion, there's so much friendly fire. You'll be fighting one guy, you might be doing well, and you catch a shot from here. The confusion, the melee, it's not like the movies. I want you guys to get a look at the reality of a mass attack. It doesn't look anything like the movies. In the movies, you see Billy Jack in the middle, everybody circles him, and they come at him one at a time, and he does his little kicks, and he takes one guy out at a time. In reality, the attributes that you need to possess when you're in this sort of a situation is calmness and relaxation, the ability to breathe, the ability to be in the moment and see everything coming at you in slow motion. Kind of freeze frame things. The sport is not the art. The ring is not the street. I don't care if it's NHB or boxing or jiu-jitsu or Thai boxing. It doesn't matter. In the street, things get exponentially more complicated. You don't know who your friends are. You're fighting one guy, you catch something from behind. The complication is great. So you're going to see this right now. So I'm going to have 3 of my guys from one end, 3 of my guys from the other. They're going to meet in the middle. You're going to see the confrontation and just kind of watch what it looks like. Okay, ready guys? And go. And break! Now, as you can see, it's not like Billy Jack. You don't have one person in the middle circled by 6 people. When you have 3-on-3, the attributes that you need to possess are calmness and relaxation, the ability to breathe, the ability to be in the moment, to see everything coming at you in slow motion. It's not the same as the ring. It's not the same as an NHB fight, a jiu-jitsu match, a wrestling match, kickboxing, Thai boxing. That's a sport. They all have merit, but it's not the same attributes that one needs to possess in the street. In the street, again, you just need to be able to keep a cool head, make the right decisions during the fog of war. Good. Good job, fellas. Good job. Now, as you see, Jeff was stuck in the middle, kind of like being stuck in quicksand. 2 people approached. He stayed in the middle. He didn't use his ashtray. He didn't run. He didn't blast. And he was stuck. You've got to find a way to circumvent the odds. You've got to find a way to get an equalizer. So you're going to see me use a bottle for an equalizer. You're going to see me go into my elbows, my knees, my headbutts. The last thing you're going to see me do is go toe-to-toe against 2 guys. Okay? Let's check it out.